welcome to this month's Lawrence University Career Center podcast, where we interview a Lawrence alum about their careers after leaving Lawrence. I'm Marissa Lake, and I will be filling in for Ty Collins this month, and today we are talking with Katherine Langenfeld from the class of 2010 about their career in the film industry. Katherine, how are you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing great. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. All right, so let's just dive right into the questions. So our first question for you is, how did you get interested in working in the film industry?
Actually, I took Julie McQuinn's film and music class freshman year, and I loved it. And then I also was a huge fan of the TV show Lost, and that inspired me to actually consider TV writing as a possible career.
Yes, gotta love Julie McQuinn classes. I also have taken many classes with her. All right, so what advice do you have for those that are interested in working in film?
The film industry, film and TV industry, is really vast, and there's a ton of different jobs. So there's acting, cinematographers, costumers, makeup artists, construction, transportation, executives, agents. And there's also different sectors within that. Like you might end up in reality TV or comedy TV or drama TV or features. So it gets kind of like one lane pretty early on. So I'm actually going to start with like a caution because I moved out here. Before I moved out here, I was kind of warned about what the industry is like. And I feel like I should pass that on because it turned out it was kind of true. So it's a really tough career path. You work really long hours. Days are typically 12 plus. So you're looking at a 60-hour work week. And then my job, I tend to be on call weeknights and weekends. And right now, assistants are paid pretty poorly. So it's a difficult work-life balance. But if it's your dream to work in film and TV, then you should go for it and don't listen to what anyone tells you because it is a fantastic industry to work in and you work with talented and very kind people, especially out in LA. So that being said, I would say if you're looking to break in, especially if you're still in college, try to do some internships. So then you can kind of see what the industry is like, what the different areas are, and also kind of get a feel of what Los Angeles is like. Once you graduate, you might look at places like being an assistant at an agency, and some of the big ones are Gersh, ICM, CAA, UTA. And if you can survive a year as an assistant at one of those big agencies, then you're going to have great experience to get another job in another area. You can also be like a set PA or an office PA, and PA stands for production assistants. And this will allow you to interact with all the different departments. And then you can kind of see what those jobs are like, and it'll also help kind of build your network and some future friends for future jobs. Oh, and I bet there's a lot of actors at Lawrence. So if you're into acting, a good way to start is by signing up at an extras casting agency. An example of that would be Central Casting, and then you're going to be an extra on set. So you'll get paid to show up, and then you can see what being on set is like. Sometimes you might even get a line of dialogue and can work to getting into SAG and AFTRA. Yeah, and make a lot of friends too once you get out here. Kind of be interested in people and what they work on. Like you'll never know what friend you make and what job they're going to get you, or just even having a like-minded community makes a huge difference, especially when you're working crazy hours.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, connections are always just like so amazing to have, I feel, in like any industry. I feel like with any art, not just film, but also music and like theatrics and acting, like the art has to be your passion, and how that also like bleeds into your work-life balance. Like it isn't for everyone. Some people love being surrounded by their art all the time, and like some people want that work-life balance. So thank you for that as well. So the next question is, why did you choose to work for your specific company?
All right. So in the film and TV industry, generally there aren't a lot of jobs. Like I really don't technically work for one company. People who have more of a regular job, they're going to be managers, agents, executives, and they would work at a company for like year or years. If you are in production, then you're actually a freelancer. So you just go job to job. And generally, like I had a job this year that was 1 month because it was pilot season. But most jobs will go like 6 months, maybe up to a year. So that's also kind of a different lifestyle as being a freelancer.
Yeah, definitely. I know there are so many students that are interested in freelancing in like so many different fields, but especially film as well, and just the arts.
Yeah, and I think a highlight of it is like if you don't like who you work for, you're
Mhm.
going to be done in a really quick amount of time. But then once you start working with people you connect with, they'll keep hiring you. So then you kind of start having your normal coworkers on different projects.
Yeah,
And then the work is
definitely.
never boring.
How was getting through that learning curve with just like marketing yourself? Because I feel like going from a student to like going into these industries, like you really do have to market yourself in order to be a freelancer. So how was that for you?
It was difficult.
Mhm.
uh, After I graduated, I got a couple internships in Minneapolis. Uh, and one of them was at Twin Cities Public Television. And some of those people had actually worked in Los Angeles and then moved back to the Twin Cities. And so they were kind of my first connection into the industry in LA. But when I moved out here, I just packed up my car, drove out here, which is, I think, most people's experience. And then from there, I started temping. They have some agencies where they'll send you out to cover for if an assistant is sick or something. And then I got my very first job as a voiceover agent's assistant. And then from there, I jumped to office production assistant for a couple years and then got promoted to line producer's assistant. And they handle budgets on TV shows. And then I was able to, she pulled a favor for me because I was loyal to her for a couple years, maybe more. And then I got to where I have been aiming for all that time, which was to be an assistant in a writer's room. So really you end up working a lot of different jobs, and those people, if they like you, like I think for my one boss, we must have worked together for 4 years on a bunch of different shows because they already have their network. So generally, and like my boss, she had a manager and an agent, even as a line producer. And so she'd already have jobs lined up. And then you just kind of go with them and you meet people on all those projects. Cause I'd say each TV show, like if you're on set, that's like 300 people that you're
Mhm.
interacting with.
How did Lawrence help you get into this career?
So Lawrence helped me get into this career because I was able to take classes outside my major to find what my passion was. I'm kind of laughing because people laugh at me when I tell them what I majored in. I was a biology major. And then at Lawrence, I was able to take writing classes and get a film minor because I thought I really wanted to stay in science. But then I just loved film and writing so much. And that's where I ended up pursuing.
Yeah, I mean, the liberal arts education is just like so nice in that way that you can really just like pick and choose exactly what you want to do. Is there anything that you learned outside of the classroom at Lawrence, like in clubs or ensembles, extracurriculars?
I actually started the Lou Film Production Club with
Oh, nice.
Stefan Anunsen back in the day.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it was great that we were able to start a club like that. And then that gave me some hands-on experience in TV production, which helped me land some internships after college.
How has the industry changed in the last 5 years?
So the good news is that the industry has been changing in a positive way. They've been fighting for better wages for assistants and more diversity too, and also a bit more equal rights. There has been a lot of changes in the sense of obviously streaming services. There's been so much content, and I think there is going to be some more changes in the next few years with lots of companies are starting to combine and condense their scripted. And then as far as the pandemic, we've definitely had huge changes. Writer rooms are taking place online instead of in person. There's still a lot of work from home going on. I know I'm full-time work from home. And there's also a lot of rules regarding COVID on set. And lots of TV shows have to shut down for a certain amount of time if someone tests positive. So sometimes filming is actually taking longer than initially planned because we have to
Mhm.
halt for some COVID cases.
Yeah, the pandemic has definitely just like taken its toll, but yeah, also has done a lot of blessings for things as well. I know in the last interview that I did, we just talked about accessibility as well. And I'm sure that also translates similarly to the film industry, but just like how things being online now just make it easier to access for so many people.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that I didn't touch on that you would like to mention?
You know, since you brought up like the online accessibility, I would say like even now when you're in college or graduating, feel free to look at classes in LA and maybe even New York because I tend to take writing classes out here and now lots of them are online. So it is more accessible. You can take classes living in a much cheaper city and still have, the talented people from this industry teaching you. So definitely take advantage of that if you can.
Thank you so much for coming on and giving us all of your knowledge in the industry and helping everybody.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Get more Laurentians out here.
I know. Yes, we'll send them. Don't worry.
Yeah,
They're
okay,
on their
just
way. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thanks for doing this, Marissa.